Hi guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. So I'm here with those background pages that we made in a previous video, and I've got this one here, which is these absolutely gorgeous pinks and golds, and I've also got, wow, this gorgeous one here, which is obviously, as you can see, the greens and the golds. Absolutely loving them. I've also got an overspill of other ones that we created in a previous video to that one. So I'm going to be playing with all of these over the next few days, but I was really kind of keen to come and play with this one. I just absolutely love it so much. And weirdly enough, just before doing the video, you know, because I've been kind of wondering how I'm going to actually use this, because, you know, typically it's really not very vintage looking, is it, with this bright pink? But I just wanted to kind of show you, I just chucked these few things on, which obviously, you know, these are, you know, leaning towards vintage. I mean, this is vintage. This is well, they're all vintage. Yeah, they're all vintage, but these are digis and this is an original. Aren't they just so stunning against that paper? So I'm wondering really if we could, you know, could incorporate some vintage kind of things. And actually, I was going to do a collage, and now I'm just backtracking already, which is not a great start, is it? Just wondered whether I could go with this instead, because these pages are thinner. You know, these are on much thinner scrapbook paper, whereas this is actually quite a thick scrapbook paper. So if I were to collage with this, it's already pretty thick. So I just thought I'm just going to see how they look. I've got to be truthful, they don't look as good as they look on the pink. So yeah, I'm going to have to going to have to scrap that idea, I think. So I'm wondering whether we could do a bit similar to the Joey DeFee idea that we did a few weeks back, where she took a 12 by 12 sheet and she made postcards from it. And I'm thinking we could kind of do a similar thing with this and then incorporate some vintage kind of pieces. So I don't know whether I necessarily want to do that with the entire sheet. So it's probably best if I don't, you know, cut the entire thing up at this point, because then I might, you know, might live to regret it. So I think at this point, let's just cut off a section that we can do that with. And then we've still got, obviously, the remaining 12 by 12 that we can, you know, play with in a different way if we choose to do a different way. I mean, I don't know yet. You know, whether we're going to do a different way or not. Should we try and keep them all similar size? So I'll just cut this in half like this. And I just find it easiest just to cut, you know, near where that fold line is, to be honest, like that. Okay. I mean, aren't they just so gorgeous? I love, love, love how these backgrounds have turned out, to be honest. But as I say, I was kind of struggling because, you know, they are typically, they're not looking particularly vintage. But I'm hoping that we're going to, you know, be able to kind of mix a bit of fusion here, mix in the old and the new. So the vintage and the, you know, very much not vintage, and see what happens from those two. So let's just... got this gorgeous frame. So this is just from my vintage Tanner's kit. I have got some black lace here, oops, which actually has got paint all over it. Obviously picked that up, I think, while I was actually doing this, you know, these background pages and the doilies. But I'm just wondering whether we could, you know, incorporate something like that. Got this beautiful stamped piece, which, I mean, that just looks lovely on there anyway, doesn't it? So, yeah, I mean, I love how those kinds of things look. Now, this photograph, obviously, you know, she's quite big on there. So it's a case of, do I use her as she is? Or could I try and actually, you know, I might even be able to put her in that frame. Now, do I try and actually cut that middle piece out, which, you know, I'm not fantastic with a craft knife, so again, I might live to regret this, but hey, let's give it a try, shall we? So right, I probably should do this off camera so as I can actually get my, you know, my head a little bit closer to this, but oh, let me put my glasses on. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and just try and sort of cut this out. Like I say, I mean, I'm not brilliant with a craft knife, and, you know, I might make a complete mess of this, but I mean, if it's only messy in one or two places, it's not too bad, because we could maybe put something over where I make the mess. If it's messy around the whole thing, that's going to obviously be much more problematic, because it will be much harder to disguise. So we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so it's not too bad. I mean, it's a little bit square there, but, you know, not too bad. So, I mean, she kind of fits in there okay, doesn't she? Let's just put that craft knife back. Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking, you know, if we cut her out, so I'm just going to cut her down so she would fit into that frame. Like that. Okay, oops, let's just cut that across at the top so it's not so long. Yeah, I mean, she looks quite pretty, doesn't she? Now, I'm wondering, again, I mean, I love using stamps, as you know, so I'm thinking maybe a little bit of stamping in the background. Now, it's a bit of a shame because I'm covering up a lot of that gold, which obviously was my favourite thing. So I'm just wondering whether I could do anything else in that background instead of that stamped piece. I mean, it's kind of one of those tricky things where she either kind of has not enough or too much showing. So let's just have a look. I've got some background pages, or not background pages, but some book page here with some stencil on, which I'm just wondering whether, let me just ink this up and then we'll just see whether this could work. I don't know whether it is going to or not, but might as well try, mightn't we? I mean, you don't know unless you try things, so it's always worth having a go. So I'm just going to, yeah, ink this up. Because, I mean, obviously at the moment it's just bright book page, which is not looking vintage at all. So I hope everyone's having a good day. Have you been making some background pages and things? I mean, I'm very inexperienced when it comes to kind of mixed media and things like that. So, yeah, how are you guys getting on? I mean, you know, maybe you do mixed media things a lot anyway. As I say, I mean, I'm very much kind of learning and just playing really and kind of experimenting, but you know, there's no reason why you can't, is there? Just because you haven't really kind of played around with mixed media things before, there's no reason why you can't. Right, let's just have a look and see. I can't decide whether that's going to be, I'm kind of thinking that's not really swirly enough. Oh, I've got just this little piece of swirly. Oh, that's quite nice, isn't it? Right, let me just ink this up now. I'm just using, again, walnut stain with the Distress Oxide for my ink pad. It's just, you know, what I've been kind of fancying using at the moment. So, I mean, it's very similar to Vintage Photo. Yeah, I don't know really. Maybe it's more of a true brown than Vintage Photo. I don't know how I would, you know, describe the difference really, but just, you know, it's nice for a change, isn't it, to use something different. So, right, liking how that looks. And yeah, what I'm thinking is, I mean, obviously it's quite big, so I'm going to cut it down slightly more, I think, but I'm also going to just stamp some bits. I'm so sorry when the table shakes like that. I really can't kind of, you know, do a lot about that because the table is, you know, my desk's quite an old desk. So I'm just going to do some of this gorgeous decorative stamp with my black stays on just in the background. Like that. You know, in no particular places. I'm not kind of overthinking it or, you know, putting it anywhere in particular. Just, you know, moving it around Now, I don't know why, but for some reason that gold has come off onto my stamp. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, so I didn't realise that was going to happen. I'm not quite sure why it did, but I guess that's just something else to be aware of, that might happen. Okay, do we like her? Do we? Going to chop this down a bit because yeah, it's a little bit wide, and that's probably not really helping with, you know, gauging the finished results. So, and you know what, I'm just going to stick this onto the frame. I'm just using my Fabri-Tac because I've got hardly any you know, tacky glue left, so I need to go to the shop and buy some more. So just so as I've definitely got enough, because I've got a few videos that I'm trying to do today, I'm going to be mainly using the Fabri-Tac, I think. So it's a bit extravagant because the Fabri-Tac is not the cheapest glue, to be honest. But yeah, I'd rather not have to break and actually go to the shop before doing my videos, because you know what it's like when you get out to the shop, then you know, then you remember some other things that you need from another shop, and before you know it, you've been out for ages, and you know, that's time that I obviously could be working. So yeah, I'm just trying to put off going to the shop for as long as possible, really. Right, I'm just going to see whether I might prefer this the other way. I think I do quite like it that way, actually, because I love this pink and I really wanted to keep as much of that pink showing as I possibly could. So I've got some more black lace actually here. Honestly, I just seem to have an abundance of black lace scraps laying around. Okay, so I quite like it like that, I think. So let's just glue this one down. Yeah, the sun is shining here. It's, you know, it's looking quite a nice day so far, so fingers crossed. Okay, let's just trim this down here, and I might just trim it down across here a bit as well. And then, you know me, I do really like roughing it up, so I'm just going to, I think, rough the edges up. I don't know why, but it's just something I really like doing. I think it gives it a lot more texture, and yeah, I kind of feel like it makes it more vintage looking. I don't know whether it does. Obviously, you know, I'm not saying vintage things had rough edges or anything like that, but I think it's because you get a bit more texture with it. So it, yeah, just makes it maybe a little bit more kind of interesting. So I'm going to just go around that with, again, the walnut stain, just on those edges, like that. Okay, and I'm thinking we could even perhaps pick some gold up on these edges. I don't know, but that might be quite nice, mightn't it? Okay, then we've got that lace piece, which I'm thinking kind of have dangling out from the bottom. Looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And then I'm thinking we need something over here. I haven't quite thought what yet. Let's just have a look and see what we've got. Got this, oh, this umbrella, that might be quite nice. I don't know whether that umbrella is a little bit on the big side, which, yeah, it may be. It may be a bit big. Oh, I've got this pink butterfly I've just spotted. I mean, that's maybe a little bit too much pink, although I am quite liking it. Right, let me just put this down. And then, you know, it's one less thing to be worrying about moving about on the desk. So I'm just going to hot glue this down, you know, because that's going to just then clamp that lace in place. It's something I don't then have to be worrying about, has it stuck or not. So we're just going to put that like that. Okay. Press her down like that. Okay, super pretty. And then, yeah, I actually really like this bright pink butterfly. So let's just see. Because again, it's so against what the typical kind of thing would be. You know, very rarely do we use such bright, vibrant colours, really. So it's kind of quite fun to actually do that. And, you know, put something really super bright in, isn't it? Yeah, now, unfortunately, this is too big, really. Oh, this is annoying because I'm sure I've got some smaller versions of this. But, of course, have I got them printed out and actually to hand? No, I don't think I have. Which isn't that just always the way? You know, everything but the one thing that we're looking for. Let's just see whether I've got any over here. No, I don't think I have. Oh, that's so annoying. So annoying. Yeah, I mean, should we just cut that one out and see? I mean, it might look okay, but I mean, at the moment, I think it is quite big. But having said that, if it was, say, half the size, it would possibly look just pretty silly and lost on there. I don't know. Okay. Right, let's just cut this one out. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. Ah. Oh, okay, right. That was suddenly a bit tricky. I should have pulled my glasses down. I mean, they just sat on the top of my head, but, you know, I didn't. Chose to just wing it and, you know, hope for the best. Hope for the best. Well, I can't really see half of it, but never mind. It is quite nice. I mean, actually, now I've put that there, I'm kind of thinking, well, actually, that umbrella's not hugely oversized, is it? It's okay. It's kind of in proportion with the piece, I think. Now, the question is, do I have it over here on its kind of own, which is that just a bit weird? Or do I have it over that frame and the lady, but then is it, you know, just lost in there? Let's have a look. You know, I don't want to have it kind of just getting completely lost. So perhaps like that. And then I'm just wondering whether I have got one of my little words. I know that I've got some words saying things like learning to dance in the rain. Again, I mean, the chances of actually having those to hand is very slim, so perhaps we'll just do, let's just take this one, Delight. Oops. Okay. I was going to put it over there, but actually I quite like everything being squished into this side. What do you think? It's quite nice to have everything, you know, squashed over and, you know, put on one side, I think. Because otherwise, I don't know about you guys, but sometimes I do find, you know, I'm inclined to fill up literally every single space going. And I mean, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but actually maybe for a change, it would be nicer to have not every single space filled. So I will just put this here like that. Okay. Yep. And then I'm going to rough this little word up. Okay. And then we'll just ink around there. Oops. Oh, come on. Yeah, I'm going to have everything squished over here, I think, instead. So let's just put that down. Again, just using my hot glue because, you know, it's just nice and speedy when you're doing a video. So that's the main reason for that. And then I have got some bling, which, you know, of course we may want to have some. So I'll just trim that down. We could have the bling on the butterfly, I guess. Actually, let me pull in the piece that's got just 3. Oh, I've got the hot glue threads stuck all over me now, so obviously they're causing everything to then stick to my fingers. Oh, that's quite pretty, isn't it? Yeah, I love how that looks. And then I think in this little space, I mean, what was I just saying about not filling every single space? Yeah, I can't help myself. So in that, in that little space, I'm just going to take my scripty stamp and just stamp a little bit of script, I think. So just like that. Yeah. Okay. So let's just pop that butterfly down. I mean, yeah, just really nice to do something really contrasting. You know, I mean, I love pink anyway. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of fun to do something in completely different colours and things to, you know, what would generally use. Well, I mean, not saying I necessarily have a go-to colour or colour scheme or anything like that, but it's quite nice to do something completely different. Now I'm wondering whether to actually edge the whole thing in black. So what I might do is just drag my StazOn around the edge. Again, that's just kind of defining the piece slightly more, like that. I mean, it's looking like it's not really showing much, but I think that's because it's on the, you know, against the craft mat, which of course is black. So, I mean, if I put it over there, hopefully you can see, you know, it's got that black edge, which looks then a bit more defined. So I love how that looks. That's just yummy, yummy, yummy. Right, let's put that one to one side and bring in the other one. So it's taken us all that time to do that one. So let's do this one. And again, I just want to bring this down because it's quite big, I think, at the moment. But actually, just before I do, I'm just going to check what types of things we're going to put on this. So, okay. Again, just kind of seeing what, you know, what types of things that might look good on here. That's not too bad. Oh, it's very tricky sometimes, isn't it, to pick the right thing. Let me just have a look through my... Got all sorts of rubbish here on the table because I've been doing a series of other videos at the moment. So, yeah, I've got loads of things. You name it, it's here. It's just here laying around from my other videos that I've been filming. And then this was just a kind of off at a tangent, really, because, yeah, I just kind of fancied doing, you know, doing this and having a bit of a play. So I've just crammed it in amongst some other videos. So, yeah, I've got a lot of things here on my desk here that I can pull from. So, again, I've got this little space in her elbow, which I could just try and cut that out with the craft knife. Or I could obviously ink it up so it's not, you know, it's not a stark white. Either of those things would work. I've just put this on there as a sort of potential possible, but yeah, I might change my mind. Quite like that, I think. So let's grab the craft knife and go in, try and trim that triangle out. Oh, I should definitely put my glasses down for this, shouldn't I? I mean, I really should when I'm doing anything that's, you know, requires a little bit more precision. I mean, as you know, precision's not exactly my thing. Oh my goodness. Precision's not my thing, and craft knives, not my thing. So we'll see how that looks. Ah, not too bad, actually. Yeah, lucky I put the glasses on after all. because it might not have looked anywhere near as okay as that had I not pulled them on. Right, okay, so I'm just going to play around with a couple of other things that I've got laying around just in case, you know, might decide to have other things instead. Got that frame as well, I quite like that. Okay, I've still got this stamped piece, let's just see. Oops. I mean, again, I'd rather not cover up all of that gold, but, you know, it may be that actually I need to because it looks good. So I quite like how that looks. Now I'm just wondering whether we want to do the, you know, where we did the stamping in the background on this one, or whether we'll leave her without the stamping. Do you know, I'm going to just put these bits down first, and then we might go back and stamp, or, you know, yeah, we might go back and stamp, or we might not. We'll just see how she looks first. Because, I mean, of course, once I've stamped on there, you know, you're then stuck with the stamping. So let's make sure that we definitely want it before we actually go for it. Okay. Right, there we go. Oops. Okay, and yeah, I liked how this label looked and the frame. But ideally, I don't want to have this kind of half business going on in her, you know, in her elbow. I want to have the elbow, that hole I just cut, over a solid area, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think kind of something like that would be best. So let's just pop this down. Okay. Do apologise if you can hear any noise. My neighbour is obviously out with their, I don't know, hedge trimmer or strimmer or something noisy anyway in the garden. So I do apologise if you can hear that. I mean, it doesn't sound like it's overly loud, but every now and then I can hear it. So yeah, it's just one of those things, I'm afraid. Obviously, because the weather's getting nicer, you know, then I guess they're, you know, rightly so, wanting to, you know, do some gardening. Right, just going to move her down. Yeah. Yeah, she looks nice like that, doesn't she? So, oh, actually, what do we think? When I moved that away, I then suddenly thought, oh, perhaps I prefer her actually on just the ivory type colour. I was all set for putting that in. And then I just moved it away and thought, oh, actually, I think I prefer her without that. Perhaps we could have her like that instead. So we'll use one of those dictionary definitions. Again, this is from the Vintage Tanners, you know, which has a lot of black pieces. You know, it's a predominantly black themed kit. Whoops. So it has quite a, you know, yummy, dramatic effect really going on. Oops. Oh, so sorry, I'm really sticky. That Fabri-Tac's very sticky today. Well, I think it's probably very sticky every day. Yeah, love how she looks like that. Okay, right. So again, just glue her down with the Fabri-Tac. Okay. So again, I've just moved her over so that her elbow is on a complete piece, if that makes sense. You know, I didn't want to have like half that little label poking through her elbow. So, yeah. Stick her down like that. Okay. Yeah, love how that looks. So just smooth that out. So again, I'm just going to bring in this lace that I've been trying to use now. Check it's up the right way. Oh, pretty down there, isn't it? And then should we have maybe a little bit of bling holding it in place? So, right, I'm just going to, again, before I glue that on, I'm just going to rough the edges up, and then we'll ink it slightly and then go around the edge with the black, just like we did on the other one. you know, then if they go in the same journal, as you know, I'm a little bit obsessed with the whole matchy-matchy, then they are at least, you know, along the same lines. So, you know, that feels like that's quite important to me. You know, that they've sort of got the same effect going on. But, you know, I mean, I'm not saying definitely that I would always do that, because there are those times when, you know, you forget kind of what you've done, and so you might end up with one piece that's not got the same effect going on. I mean, that happens to me frequently, forgetting things. So again, just going around that edge with the black, like that. And the bottom, and then up that edge there. Okay. Right, so that looks really pretty, and then we're just going to finish it off just with that piece of lace. And again, what I'm going to do is just hot glue the bling across that lace, which will hopefully sort of pin that lace in place. Okay, oops. Like that. Okay. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Oh, sometimes the hot glue goes on better than others. I think it's, you know, user error every time it doesn't, but yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, obviously that lace is kind of flapping around, but I mean, once it's down on a page, that's absolutely fine. It's not going to be a problem at all. Just check whether we want to have a word or anything like that, because I've obviously still got, oh, this is a little bit monstrous for this. Let me just see whether I've got a smaller version, because this is from my faux stamped images. And yeah, obviously there's big ones and small ones of those faux stamped stamps. Yeah, the faux stamped stamps. There are some different sized ones of those. Also got a butterfly here, which we could have. Let me just grab my hair thinning scissors. Not my idea, but if you haven't heard me talking about these, the lovely Heather, who has a shop on Etsy, she suggested the hair thinning scissors to, you know, to cut stamps and things out. And oh my goodness, what a genius idea. Because, you know, they just do produce those edges. And if, like here, you end up with this where you've got too much, you can just go down and obviously trim that down. So, you know, they're super forgiving as well, which of course we like. And I think that's forgiving we like, don't we? Right, do I want to have that postage stamp on there? I mean, it's just nice, isn't it, to have some extra bits and pieces, really. So let's just put that up. And then do we want this butterfly, or do we think she's got enough going on now? Oh, let's have the butterfly. Yeah. Okay. I mean, enough is never enough, as you know. I always think more is more. Just going to have to put that stamp that way now, because otherwise it's, I feel like they're both leaning off. So let's just pop that down there like that. Okay, yep, loving how those two came out. So how pretty do they look? So obviously we have the rest of the sheet left to play with, and yeah, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with the rest of it. As I say, this is quite thick scrapbook paper, so I don't want to collage with it or anything, because of course it's going to end up, you know, being like a really stiff collage piece, which, you know, might just then be completely useless. So I probably will make some more kind of similar things to these. Just wondering, I mean, I could do a belly band piece. Yeah, shall we do... So I'm going to chop this down, we'll do a belly band, and I can probably do that quickly now. And then we'll have to come back, I think, and do the rest of the board another time. So, yeah, we'll just do this one piece today, and then we'll come back and, you know, play with the rest of the board another time. I mean, how gorgeous is that? I really, really, really love how that looks. It's just so pretty. Now this has got the perforated edge here, and you know, because it's a belly band, if I take that off, it may be, you know, a little bit shorter than I would like. So what I might do is leave that on and make sure that we glue something over there that's going to, you know, reinforce it and make sure it doesn't kind of fall apart. So let's just move these bits to one side, and then let's see what I've got laying about, you know, just whether I've got anything laying around at the moment that I can pull in. So I've got this one here. Okay. Oops. Yeah, down here. Actually, I'm just going to pull in my, I've got some ready-made clusters and things like that. Just going to have a look and see whether I've got any that might be just perfect for this. So hold on. Okay, so I've just rummaged through my drawers, and I've got some bits here that we've done in a mass making. Actually, we didn't do these in a mass making, but yeah, I've got my little side strips that we did in a mass make, which I thought might look quite good on here. I've got this one also, which again, I mean, isn't that just gorgeous on there? It looks really pretty, doesn't it? I also pulled in this fan because I thought, well, who knows, the fan might look good. Oh, what a shame that that's going to cover up the clock, because I actually think that looks really nice on there. Yeah, probably not ideal really, as it's going to cover up the main focal point. I had that flower, but that's then going away from the kind of black theme stuff. Yeah, what do we think? I mean, we could have something going on like this. I also have got my little hearts, which again, I mean, these weren't a mass make, but we did do these, you know, I did do a video doing these. So I'm thinking we could have those. I'm just going to cut this piece of lace down here like that. Oops. For just in case we want that across the bottom. Well, I mean, I guess what we could do is have it sort of more like that, really. That's quite nice, isn't it? Oh, that's quite nice, actually. It's quite nice to be able to just incorporate some of the things that we've made previously, isn't it? And, you know, again, it then just makes bringing things together really quick and easy, which, you know, of course, is always a good thing. If you can actually then just, you know, make things pretty quickly. I don't know whether we want that or not, but right, let's just ink this up then. So just this little decorative strip piece. Okay, so I'm just going to glue this down here, and actually I'm thinking maybe I will glue it right to the edge. Yeah, I think I'm going to glue that right to the edge. So let's just take my Fabri-Tac again and glue this piece down. Whoa. Like that. Okay, just dab that excess glue. Okay, and then, yeah, I love that heart there. So let's just, I'm going to just hot glue this. Again, you know, it's just for speed. So, you know, you don't have to have a hot glue gun. You don't have to use hot glue if you don't like it. I'm just literally, you know, doing this for speed. Okay, oops. And then again, because I really like doing it, I'm just going to rough the edges of the whole piece. Like that, oops. Like that. Okay. Right, let's go around those edges. Like that. Okay. And then I'm just going to go round with the black stays on. Oh, I love how that looks. Really, really nice. Okay. And down there, like that. And like I say, I'm going to kind of cover this piece up because I've got that perforated piece on there, which just, you know, it may make it shorter than I would like. So I think kind of covering that up, you know, it's just going to be good for, you know, from a point of view of kind of extending the length of it almost. Just wondered whether I could have a button. That button's possibly a bit massive on there. Looks a little bit better without the other piece, but yeah, I think that button's probably just a little bit too big. That's got green on it, so yeah, again, that's just not going to be quite right. Got this one with some gold. I think that might be navy blue actually rather than black, so yeah, probably best I don't use that after all. So now just wondering whether I might want to have lace at the top, or, you know, we could finish it off actually with even that fan up there. And then what I could do is shape that corner round so that it's, you know, shaped in with the fan rather than just stuck on there with the corner hanging out. It would be like that at the top, quite like that. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, right, let me find some bling here. Oh, come on. Which of course I know I have got, because, you know, wouldn't be my desk, would it? Let's face it, if it didn't have bling everywhere I looked. But of course now I can't actually find it. Right, let me just pull some in from behind me. Hold on. Okay, so I've got some bling now. Just trim that down. Okay. And then we'll just trim it down here. So again, I'm just going to probably glue this just here to the side, which will sort of clamp that lace down. And then I might just add a little bit of glue under a couple of the more solid pieces of the lace, or solid parts of the lace. So like here and there, like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to glue this fan here at a sort of angle. So again, I'm going to go through those more solid pieces like that. Okay, like that. Oops. And then what I can do is just then take this edge and then cut that down like in line with the fan. Okay, so I mean that looks a little bit strange at the moment, but hopefully if that were then, you know, on a journal page, it will look less strange. So yeah, I mean I haven't really got a journal on the go, but well, I have actually, but yeah, not one that's going to look right with this at all. But I have got some coffee dyed paper here, so let me just pull in. If that were on a journal page, for instance, you know, you could just then glue it across here and across there at the bottom, and that would be your belly band piece. So, you know, just a bit of a different sort of top finishing off, you know, idea, I suppose. So yeah, these are the three that we have done today. Really pretty, aren't they? And just gorgeous, gorgeous colours. I mean, just lovely to work with something, you know, really, really different. So yeah, I hope that you like them. And as I say, we'll come back and do something with the, you know, remaining piece of that background paper, you know, pretty soon. But yeah, hope that you like them and maybe it's given you some inspiration. And yeah, have a great day, everybody. And see you guys tomorrow. Thanks, then.